Good afternoon, and thanks again for joining us here at Wild Irish Bushcraft and Survival. I'm Chuck, your host. Okay, listen, the other day I had done a tutorial on a treadle snare, a rudimentary one to say the least, but a treadle snare based on standard, two sticks, trigger switch and all that. Now, the one I used, and what I did was instead of looking for the appropriate or right kind of V, or rather a Y stick that comes out, a fork stick if you will, what I did instead was I created a couple of very aggressive, number 7 notches. I flattened out the stick. And the reason I did this, and the reason I made this particular kind is I want to illustrate that not all the time do we have the opportunity to find the right, proper stick. I mean, to do a lot of looking, right, for that. And sometimes you just don't have all the time in the world to be doing this. Now this way, all you need really is a reliable piece of cutlery, and bingo, you can make an aggressive number 7 notch. Right. So now today, what we're doing is we're exploring the same basic idea, but more of a sensitive and a beauty for basic trail snares. Okay, this is a great game trail snare to do. It's the same premise as the standard treadle snare, right? Now this one is particularly good for like a game trail, or perhaps a habitat, a hole, an animal hole right outside of it. Okay, it's the same idea. Okay, you have your standard trip here, all right? Your trigger switch right down there, and it goes right up into here, your engine, whatever your engine's going to be. Now, a lot of people use your standard saplings, whatever, all right? I myself prefer a counterweight, all right? Rocks. I don't know if you can see, but up in there, we're using the very bushcraft-oriented bricks. All right. Again, I'm doing this in the backyard, so bear with me on this. But now, of course, I prefer to use rocks, rather large lugs, and the reason for that is, like I said before, that saplings, when they're bent like that, if they're there for a while, may lose their elasticity due to weather, what have you. All right. So it's not to guarantee that they're going to snap up as fast as when you pull them down. Now, as I said before, rocks, I know for a fact, do not get lighter. So, and that's as far as I know, every time I've been hit by one, it's always felt as heavy as always. So that's why I use it kind of. But again, it's a personal thing, whether you want to or not. It's up to you. But again, so what we're dealing with here, if you look on the side here, I don't want to get to you. You have your very aggressive number 7 notch right down there, all right? And in there, a flattened piece of stick here, all right? I want to be and again, I'm using very exaggerated pieces here, all right, just for illustration, of course. What you do is a fairly smaller sticks. For your trigger switch, you use a smaller stick, sturdy but smaller, so that it could be closer to the ground. And again, you would have this fairly close to the ground, so that when the animal stepped on it, it would let go of the switch here now. Right. So there you are, 2 posts here, 1 post here to hold it in. And that's what's going to go across the trail. Depending on the size of the trail, of course, is depending on the width and the stick itself. All right. This is again depending on also on the size of the game you want to catch, would be your counterweight or your engine, right? Because you could go for small rabbits, things like that. So if you want to go for larger ones, we just have to have a heavier counterweight to be able to lift the sucker off the ground. I mean, it really stands the reason. But so there you have your couple of sticks on the side. Again, we're just doing a rudimentary version of this, all right? So there you have it. I mean, essentially, this is really simple. The whole thing maybe give you maybe, 20 minutes, half an hour at the best, just to make the 7 notches, nozzle them in, just getting the sticks. But getting the sticks might be the biggest exploration of it all right? And again, as I said before, we don't have all the time to look for the perfect Y-shaped stick so we can get the little fork at the end, all right? And this is a numbers game because you want to make as many of these as possible so to catch as much food as you can, all right? So if you're going to wait and look around in the forest for the right stick, you might get shagged in the end run, all right? Your time is nothing on your side in this case. You need bloody food on the table soon. this way, improvise, all right? And again, you would have a smaller trigger switch here. But essentially, here the idea is very simple, all right? Here's Mr. Rabbit, he comes out of his hole. Here's the food, or again, even if it's not even the food, if it's a trail, all right, a game trail, what you would do is have your channeling down here. You'd put your sticks down the side here to channel them on in, all right, because there's no other way around. All right, and then boom, 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 here comes Mr. Whatever it is, it catches on there, boom, it goes up, all right, and again, this is slower than it is, boom, there's the food on the table. Now, of course, you would also measure just how high you want it to go up, too. I mean, bear in mind that you want this thing to be fairly high off the ground, all right, because the last thing what you want to do is have it down here like this, you know, somewhere low to the ground. Granted, it'll choke the animal out and it'll be fine, all right. But the problem is if it's too low to the ground, anything coming along, bear, coyote, what have you, is basically seeing a meal for them. All right. Here you did all this bloody work here, and here walk along a wolf, a bear, a coyote, what have you, and says, oh look, free meal. Which case you ought to come upon him and go, get the hell away from me, you furry brown bastard, that's mine, and it's work afterwards. So again, like I said before too, and I always want to make clear on this, that again, trapping, all right, snaring is a last resort thing, because it's illegal. All right, if you had to do it, you had to do it for survival. I mean, that's excusable and all, but it's illegal in most places, right? But again, if you have to do it, you have to do it. All right, I'm sure nobody's going to say, well, you're sentenced to this many years because you had to eat. But anyways, you have to. So, like I said before, if you're just doing this on a whim, or you're suddenly get a hankering for squirrels, raccoons, the neighbor's cat who shit in your yard the last time, whatever the case may be, it's kind of illegal. So you don't want to do that. But like I said, the size of the counterweight will equal, you know, the size that you're getting for. You know, bigger quarry. All right. You'd want a wider, you know, wider stance here. All right. You want a wider area so they can get through it. On a heavier counterweight or a heavier engine. All right. Whatever you want to make it to get it off the ground. All right. So there it is, essentially. That's it in a nutshell. All right. Again, the thing about these snares is they're not overly complicated. All right. Some of them really get overly edgy-burgy, in my estimation. And quite frankly, they don't have to be. All right. An aggressive number 7 notch, a simple piece that go inside there, a flat, which we seem to have lost. Oh, yeah. Here we go. A simple number 7, or a flattened out piece of stick like that to go right inside there. Your trigger, and a nice pull chair. And there you have it. A couple of sticks, you know. Then again, it doesn't matter what the bloody hell the sticks are made out of. Alright? So long as you're holding the snare open. That's all that matters. Alright? I see a lot of fellas gassing on about it's all going to be dog wood or this or that and the other thing. Bollocks, lad. Make sure it's a stick that keeps the snare open. The kind I suggest are wooden. If you find something else, say even better. Anyways, so that's in a nutshell. Tell me what you think. And if you have any ideas of your own, by all means, let me know. Because I'm always learning. I always want to learn and I always want to teach as well. So there it is. Now, if you like what you saw, by all means, leave it a thumb up, comment down below. If you didn't like what you see, well, leave it to yourself. Subscribe if you want, and if you subscribe, I'll subscribe back to your channel. It's a give and thing like that. And there it is all. So, once again, for Wild Bushcraft and Survival, I'm Chuck, your host. I want to thank you again. Cheers.